Hey fam, welcome back to Raw Reviews for my newest series, which is Más, Menos y Me. So in Spanish, that roughly translates to more, less, and then obviously Me is English for okay. So this is gonna be my wrap up of everything for the month of January and my thoughts on it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the Menos category, which is the things that are at the bottom of the barrel and what I did not really enjoy using. So first, we're gonna start with this. This is the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. I don't remember the exact term for it, but so many people have raved about this and they say that it's an excellent drugstore dupe for the Beauty Blender, all that jazz. So I got this finally. I've been meaning to try it forever and I was so excited because I was like, oh, this is supposed to be the best dupe. I've really only ever used beauty blenders. I think there's a Macy's sponge that I've used before that was okay, but I was so excited for this and it sucked horribly. I don't know, I think it might be the shape too. I'm used to the round bottom of the Beauty Blender type sponge. But this, and I felt like this sucked up so much of the foundation. I did not enjoy this at all. I used it once. Really don't ever want to use this again. I probably will keep it in my collection just to try, maybe again in the future. Maybe I'll forget how bad it was and I'll see, maybe, maybe I'm exaggerating, but this sucked horribly. I did not enjoy it. Do not recommend. Next, as much as I'm loath to say this, is the ABH Lash Brag Volumizing Mascara. I was really excited for this mascara and honestly, I love it on my top lashes. I think it looks great. I love the brush, works well, but on my bottom lashes, it smudges every single time, no matter how careful I am about applying it to my lower lashes, no matter how light-handed I am, it smudges every single time. And then it immediately starts flaking. Like, I'm not even completely done with my makeup look, and I do this at the end, and I find little black dots all over my cheek line. And I have so many mascaras that I still need to try. I mean, obviously I'll keep this till I'm done with it, but I will not repurchase. Next is the ABH Eye Primer. I guess I should be holding these up to the camera, sorry. I don't like this. I was really disappointed. I think Mel Thompson really likes this, I think, and I just do not enjoy it. I've been using my Urban Decay trusted old original eye primer for years. I have no problem with that. Like, I've used pigments from some of these ABH palettes and I've never had a problem with this. This is the first time ever I've had pigments, what is it called? Like color my eyes, like leftover, stain, there we go, stain my eyes and my eyelids, I should say. And I don't like the way this feels, trying to get the right amount to come out. I think I said something about this on Reddit and one girl said it was like a voodoo ritual. And I completely agree. I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the way it spreads out on my eyes. It looks very chalky. I don't think it holds pigment, which is what someone said, that supposedly this helps the pigment pop. I don't feel like it does that. My eyes end up looking creasy. I have very oily eyelids, so maybe this isn't for oily eyelids, but I do not enjoy it and I'll probably end up trying to sell this. Next is the ABH Clear Brow Gel. It's just not for me. I don't feel like I need clear brow gel. I know some people like to do it to keep their eyebrows in place. I feel like my eyebrows stay in place just fine. I don't need this. It's a really wet formula compared to the other brow gels that I'm used to, which are tinted ones. So I don't know if that makes them less liquidy because it's but I don't find myself reaching for this. I used it once. It took forever for my eyebrows to dry. I didn't like how it felt. I'll probably try and get rid of this too. And then the last two things we have, which if anyone's a follower of ABH, this shouldn't come as a shock, the Subculture and the Prism palettes. So you saw me try Subculture on in that first video. It's a beautiful color story. The shadows don't blend, which is something everyone said, you know, from the very beginning. So I shouldn't have been surprised, but the colors don't blend well. Like I said, the color story is beautiful. Like, I love Cube. Look at that. I don't know if you can see the reflection, but look at that, how beautiful it is. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for me. It's hard to blend. Some of the colors come off very patchy. The amount of work that I have to put into it to get it to work, that eyeshadow look didn't end up looking so great. It isn't for me. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, and as much as I used to be a collector, I'm trying to get out of that mindset, and I'm trying to really curate my collection. So I don't see myself ever reaching for this palette. And as much as I want, like, the collector in me is like, oh, but then you'll have all the however many, what is this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, you'll have all the 14, you know, color shade palettes, and they'll match, and I'm really trying to break that habit. So maybe someone else who wants to collect this or actually enjoys it, you know, doesn't mind being patient and work with it, someone will enjoy this better. And then the Prism palette. So this was actually given to me, I think one of my best friends got this off Reddit, and then she traded it to me or gave it to me or something like that. And I was really excited because, like, oh, I finally have the Prism palette. My collection is complete. Once again, collection. It's an interesting color story, and I'm actually wearing this palette today, but I'm wearing the neutral shades. Because all of these shades that make it unique, like this green Thorn, this blue Osiris, this beautiful like purpley shade Dimension, they suck. They are not Thorn especially is not pigmented. See, it looks like it comes off. They're like, oh, that's nice and pretty. And then, like, this is not how it comes off on your eyes. So it's not enjoyable. It's very flaky. The mattes I feel blend really well, but like Lure, I can get that in Modern Renaissance or Soft Glam. Obviously these other neutral shades I can get in other palettes. It's just what makes it unique doesn't end up working. So that's very frustrating. I don't see myself reaching again for this palette, so I will get rid of this one too. Okay, next we have the meh category, which means these things are okay. They're not bad, they're not great though either. So first, let's start with the loose setting powder. I have the shade Vanilla. This powder I like because it doesn't crease under my eyes. I find like some powders tend to crease under my eyes. I think it stays well in the forehead area, which I get really shiny, which even though I powdered, I'm shiny now. The color is okay. Like, it's a little light, but I mean, it performs as it should. I don't think it blew me away. It's super huge, so I'm gonna have this forever probably, and it's fine. So it's not bad. I've had powders that are worse. I don't know if I've had powders that are better. I'm still new to the powder category. It blends in decently. I think it's a little light. I wish there was something a little more peachy. Maybe they do have something more peachy and I just don't know, but it's okay. Next is the Real Techniques microfiber sponge. It's in the It's in the same shape as the other sponge, but this one is just microfiber. I use it to put the powder underneath my eyes. I think it's okay. I think it might do better than a brush because normally I use a brush to do that, and I've been using this. So it seems to be working. I'll keep using it, or maybe I'll try a brush next month to see how that goes, what the difference is. And maybe I'll come back to this and with a different review later. Next we have the liquid lipsticks from ABH in American Doll and Allison. So I tried Allison in my first ABH video, and then I actually haven't tried this. I really want to figure out if this color is good for me or not. It's hard to tell. It looks like a blue-red, or I think so. And reds are so hard for me to wear. I just haven't had an occasion to wear it yet. So I'd really like to find a few reds that are okay. This formula is okay. It's a bit drying, so I feel like your lips need to be really moisturized. And right now it's winter time. I live in Illinois, so it can be really dry. My lips are constantly like peeling off right at the bottom, so I tend to stick to lip glosses when I do wear something. But right now with mask wearing, obviously it's hard to really get a good indication of what's good, what's bad. So a lot of people I think have said the ABH liquid lipstick formula is drying, so it's okay. I don't think it's bad, I just don't think it's great either. So meh. Next we have the ABH Highlighting Duo Pencil. I showed this in my first video of the month, and it has one shimmer side, I believe is this side, and one matte side. It's okay. It's okay for lining my eyes. It's okay for carving out my brows. I will probably still use this in the future. It doesn't wow me. It does its job. Me. Next is the ABH Lip Primer. It's just a clear primer that goes on your lips. I generally like to use chapsticks or something like a daytime lip mask that's a little bit more hydrating. This just covers your lips but doesn't do anything for them. I should probably look up if it's supposed to do anything for them. Like I said, I have it just very dry, especially on the outer edges of my lips. So if I were to use this and then use a liquid lipstick, it really doesn't look good. But if I use this and then use a lip gloss, I'm fine, and I feel hydrated just fine. But it doesn't, like, I could also get that and more from a chapstick, so it's okay. Next we have the ABH Hydrating Oil. So the first time I used this, I did not like it. And it turns out that I looked it up and I feel like I used too much. So next time, instead of, I think the first time I did, I squirted like 4 drops into my hand and then spread it over my face. That was too much. Even on my chin, which is very dry, the foundation ended up sliding around and wouldn't stick, and it was just ugh. So the next few times that I used this, I'm actually wearing it today underneath my foundation. I just took the dropper and like put it up against my face, not even really squeezing the little topper. I just kind of put it on my face and then dragged it around a bit. And that seemed to work fine. So I think it does a good job. I think it does what it's supposed to do. It works fine. Ooh, excuse me. It works fine on my chin. I think it works fine on my cheeks, my forehead, basically my face area looks fine. It doesn't do anything where I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But I'll try and use it up. And then we have the ABH Dewy Set Setting Spray. It's okay. It does, even though I spray it away from my face, it does leave drops sometimes. I noticed that today. I had a big old drop right here that I had to try and like let dry. I think it does a decent job of, I think it actually sets my makeup and keeps it, even though it's supposed to be dewy, maybe it's because it's winter. Maybe I wouldn't use this in the summer. I haven't thought about that yet, or maybe if I did, if I wanted a really dewy look. So I think it does a decent job. It doesn't, I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, but maybe I'm also really hard to impress in that area. I don't know. I feel like I haven't used enough setting sprays. Maybe I'll come back to this in future, give it a better rating after I've used more setting sprays, but right now I think it does a decent job and I'll continue to use it. Okay, and on to the palettes. So let's start with the ABH Norvina palette volume 1. So this is a set of palettes that Norvina came out with. I'm trying not to blow you guys with the mirror. So it's okay. It has pigments in it as well as eyeshadows. I've used it a couple times. First of all, it smells kind of funky, so I don't know, that's just weird. It smells plasticky. And then this is, I think I used Urban Decay with this one, I used the primer with this one, and I got, for some reason, even though I used a purple shadow, I got a pink stain, so that was weird. It's okay. It's nothing great. Honestly, this palette is so huge. As much as I love the purples, I don't think I'll end up reaching for this palette much. It's so big. It goes in a different drawer in my collection. There's nothing wrong with it per se. I think it did take a bit, because of the pigments, it did take a bit to blend. So I think I'll end up trying to sell this because I'm not gonna use this. And like I said, I'm trying to curate my collection. It's okay, there's nothing bad about it, but it's not great either, and it's too big for me, so. Next is the ABH times Alyssa Edwards palette. I remember being so excited when this came out, not necessarily because of Alyssa Edwards. I didn't follow her at the time, so I didn't really know about her, but I really enjoyed the color story. But I also found it so similar, as did many people, to the ABH Riviera palette, which had just come out recently. This one also has pigments as well as eyeshadows. It's okay. It's a little bit to blend. I will keep this palette because it's got, like, I really like that yellow color. I think that's interesting. The pinks, the purples, I think the gold, I like the white. I'll keep it, but it didn't really wow me. I think it's okay. Honestly, I feel like I should choose between this or the Riviera palette, but I'm not ready to let it go yet. Next is the Carly by Belle palette, which came out right after the Jackie Aina palette. This one is really pastel colored and really light. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything, I can't remember the term that I'm trying to think of, but I don't think it's anything, I hate to say I don't think it's anything special because I'm sure Carly worked really hard on this palette, but it's nice. It, is a nice light palette when you need it to be. And that's all I have to say about that. So I don't necessarily recommend it, but I don't not recommend it. Like, I don't think you need to go add this to your collection, but if you have it, you have it. It's nice. And then last in the meh palette category, we have the Riviera palette. So like I said, I found the color story, as did many people, to be similar to the ABH Alyssa Edwards palette, even though this one came out first. Hers obviously has more pops of color. This one is supposed to be about that area of the country, Bahama. It has like a shade called Bahamas, which I ended up using the other day. I found it really pretty. I just don't feel like as much as this color should pop, I don't feel like it pops as much on the lid. But I think it's okay. I really like these golds. I really like this. I feel like these flake though. Like these particular types of shadows, the shimmer shadow formula, I found it really flaky on the brush and I had to go in there, and then when I ended up using the shadow wet, it ended up like going into the crease of my eye and it just looked weird. It's okay. I'm not ready to give up this palette yet. Maybe in the future I will, but I'm already giving up Subculture and Prism. So I'll continue to try and use this palette in the future. Obviously not too much in the near time future since I just used it. I'm like, it's okay. But like I said, I'm not ready to give it up yet. I still need to give it some more chances. So if you have this palette, it's okay. If you are not a big makeup person, I would suggest choosing between these two palettes depending on what you want. It's like they both have golds, they both have pinks and purples. Depending on if you want a pop of, like if you want a black for some reason, then you would go for this palette. If you wanted maybe some more blue options, this has this blue and this blue, whereas this just has a matte blue option and then this purple shimmer. So you just kind of have to decide which one you feel like you would get more use out of. And other than that, I feel like they're pretty similar. Okay, and last, but certainly not least, my favorite category, which I'm so excited to be ending this on a positive note, the Moss category. So first we are going to go with the ABH Lip Gloss in Vintage. It's what I'm wearing right now. I think it's so funny because I feel like it looks pink, but then when I put it on, I feel like it's so nice, it's soft, it's not, so you know how sometimes lip glosses can be too, like when you put your lips together, like sticky? It's not like that at all. It glides on so smooth. I think it looks great. I love this color, and even though it looks very pearlized, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks very pearlized in the container. It looks great. It doesn't look like that on the lips. I love it. I would definitely buy more of these if I did not have so many lip products that I am currently trying to go through. So I was really glad to pull this back out and use it again, and this will definitely be a favorite in the future. So this just made it into the Moss category. I was really, this is the only, there we go, foundation. This is the only foundation that I used this entire month. So I've been the problem with looking at yourself in a magnified mirror is that you can see every inconsistency, which is why the first time I used this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is too dark for me. Maybe this is my summer shade. But then when I went to look in the bathroom, I was like, oh, this looks fine. I don't know what I was so freaking out about. It's just looking in a mirror that's like 5 times magnetized. You feel like it's just sitting on your skin, but then when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, this looks nice. When I take a picture, this looks nice. So it looks fantastic. It looks absolutely flawless on my cheeks. I think it does well on my dry chin. It doesn't get too oily on my forehead, which is where I have my more oily on my nose area. It separates a little bit, but honestly, it's great. I have quite a few foundations, so I wouldn't say I would repurchase this right away if I were to go through it, which, because I have a lot of foundations, I don't think that'll be a problem. So I could possibly repurchase, but right now, it was fun to experiment with. I like the packaging, and I think this is definitely worth a go if you're looking for a new foundation. Okay, so we all heard my story about the Real Techniques Beauty Blender, Beauty Sponge. I did not enjoy that one, even though it came highly recommended. So I actually commented about that on Reddit, and someone recommended the Beauty Bakery sponges. Now these come in a 6-pack, and 6 of these are cheaper than one beauty blender. And the reason I was on the hunt is because the last time I used my beauty blender, my cat stole it and he has disappeared with it, and I don't know where it is. And at this point, I'm too afraid to find it because it's probably under even though I've looked under the couch, I've looked everywhere, I cannot find it. I really hope he didn't eat it. I don't think he did. But he was batting it around, and then I haven't seen it since. And I was shooting actually when I saw him with it, and I was like, I have to go after this, so he's fine. I'll just really thoroughly wash it, and because my floors are clean in here, and now it's gone. So I was like, I really need something to replace this. I don't really like using a brush with this foundation. So off of Reddit's recommendation, I went for the Beauty Bakery sponges, and I absolutely love this. Like I said, you get 6 of them for the price of 1 beauty blender. I think less. I think these are like $18 or something like that for a pack of 6. And I really enjoy them. Have been using them for my foundation as well as my concealer. Thoroughly enjoy them. Highly recommend. And I think I also I just really like this egg shape. It comes actually in a little egg carton. It's super cute. But I thoroughly enjoy this. Would highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Will repurchase. Next, so this also is in the this just barely made it into the Moss category. These are the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and look at this tiny little one that I finished. It's so cute. I think I got that as a sample at some point, obviously. But these are the full-sized Brow Wizzes. So they're great. So like I said in my other video, I've recently just begun doing my eyebrows where I use the Brow Wiz and then I use the brow gel over it, and I think that really works. The brow gel is just too little. Like maybe if I wanted to do a natural no makeup look, that would be just fine, but I think this really helps me shape and define my brows the way that I want them. So I will be trying more types of this brow pencil whiz type thing, so I don't want to say these are the best of the best. I've heard great things about LA Girl. I think LA Girl is the one that's supposed to be a really good dupe for this, so maybe I'll come back and say, oh, these are great, but there's something better. But right now I know these go on sale a lot during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, so I would recommend. And then alongside that also just barely made it into the Moss category are the ABH Dip Brow Gels. So this is the full size, and then this is the mini size. It's okay. I also use, not e.l.f., what is the other one? Essence. Essence has a Make Me Brow that's supposed to be a dupe for the Benefit one. I really like that one too, so I haven't tried that one recently. I think they perform very similarly, but since I have this, I've been using it, I enjoy it, would recommend, but also there are other lower cost alternatives out there. Next, I'm sorry to say this, but this is the ABH times Amrezy Highlighter. I almost said palette, but it's not a palette. It's just a ginormous highlighter. It's gold, and it is absolutely beautiful. I tend to be heavy-handed, and sometimes it can be difficult for me putting on highlighter. It ends up kind of looking kind of stripy, but this is what I've been wearing, and I just think it is so soft and gentle. It looks beautiful, fabulous formula. I don't have any other ABH highlighters. I would, if they were all like this, I would buy them. I know they just came out with another one that's supposed to be icy, but also comes off a little bit golden. So I've been debating getting that one, but I've heard it's a different formula. I don't know if they've ever come out with another formula like this one. If you missed this, I'm so sorry. Maybe you could try and find it secondhand online, but I think it is the best, and I love it. And I'm so glad to have started reusing it again, and now this will be more at the forefront of my mind, so I'm super excited to have refound my love for this. So the next two kind of surprised me. This is the ABH Blush Trio in Peachy Love. I mostly just used these two. This is Nectarine, and this is Ginger, and then this is, I think, Miami. This one has light sparkles in it. I kind of use it as a blush topper, but I didn't really use it too much because I don't find myself reaching for this orangey color, maybe in the summer. Like I said, I mostly use these two. This one also has a little bit of shimmer in it, but like it comes off in a way that just looks glowy on the skin. I used actually both of these today for my blush. Love them. I actually wish this just came in duos because I feel, let me show you my brush. This is the brush that I use for blush, and I just feel like it needs to just be a little bit bigger because it kind of runs a little bit into the other colors. So if they sold this in duos, I would be on top of this. This honestly came as such a surprise for me. I didn't think I was gonna, like, I had a trio like this once and I actually decluttered it. So I rebought it for this video, for the, you know, ABH full face video, and I can't believe I end up loving it as much as I am. So, yeah. And like I said, this one also came up as a shock for me. This is the powder bronzer in Rich Amber. I don't know if you can see, but I have definitely given this some love. I didn't even know, I just picked a color. I didn't even realize they had a shade range of colors. I thought they just had one bronzer, but this actually ended up working really well for me. It's what I've been using all month, and I don't even know if you can tell that I have it on. Like I said, I tend to be heavy-handed, and this works perfectly. Like, if you took away all my other bronzers, and that's even saying with my Marc Jacobs, I don't even remember what it's called, tan bronzer, it comes in that big white package. That was my top bronzer, which I love more than anything else. Even if you took that, I would be completely happy with this one bronzer. Now I feel bad for the other bronzers that come after this and have to stack up to this because I absolutely love this. I think it's worked perfectly. I don't know why more people don't talk about this. It blends so seamlessly. It looks good on my skin color. Sometimes it's so hard to find a neutral bronzer. I feel like this might have a little, I don't even think it might have a hint of red to it, but other than that, it's neutral. It looks great. I love it. Highly 10 out of 10 recommend you try this formula. And then of course, last but not least, we have the palettes. So we have the, what I call the Holy Trinity plus two more. So the Holy Trinity is obviously Modern Renaissance, Norvina, and Soft Glam. These three are the ones that are similar. They have the same soft outside packaging. Soft Glam is, you know, the neutral palette. We have Norvina, which is considered their purple palette, even though it's an even color of pinks and purples and neutrals. And then we have, come on, don't fall. We have Modern Renaissance, which is their pinky palette. These all have the same formula, works great on the eyes, love them, will keep them, highly recommend them. Couldn't say more great things about them. Next, we have the Sultry palette, which they actually just re-released for the holidays because this was a limited edition. And this is a beautiful neutral and yet cool toned, like neutral palette. I believe it's the same formula as, okay, I don't know what happened, but apparently the internal temperature of my camera was too high. So I thought I saw like it dim on camera, so I'll have to go through the footage, but if some of the footage like halfway through gets really dim, apparently that was my camera trying to tell me something, and then all of a sudden it popped up and said, the internal temperature is too high, turning camera off, and then it turned off. So I'm gonna try and finish this really quick. Like I was saying, the Sultry palette, great, beautiful, neutral, cool toned palette. Absolutely love this. I think it's still available. Would highly recommend. Beautiful outer packaging. Just love it. And then last, but certainly not least, one of my all-time favorite palettes is the ABH times Jackie Aina palette. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful colors. I know she worked really hard to make this something that can be used for women of all colors, especially women of color. But these shades are just, you can get so many. You can get purples and pinks. They've got this red down here that goes great with this gold, this green and the brown, that white shade that's not actually white, trust issues, that comes off like as a different color. I love the formula. Highly recommend. I don't know if this is still available. I think it is. I think it's part of their permanent line. I think this is just a beautiful palette. I think all 5 of these are great. I would recommend all 5 of them if you can find them. Cannot say enough good things about it. So that is the end of my whole big review spiel. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and if you want to hit that subscribe button, that would be great. I upload 1 video every week, and I'm really enjoying being back on this platform, and I hope you all have a nice weekend. Bye!